Good morning. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I'm so excited to be with you again this week. I hope you have been enjoying the Wellness Wednesdays and feeling a little bit more empowered, a little more informed. Today, we're going to talk about building a strong back. And so when we look at building a strong back, number one, why do we need it? Right? We look at how gravity works on our bodies, and our back muscles are part of our core. In the Pilates world, our core is the short wetsuit, okay, to mid-thigh. And so we're thinking about the back as part of the core, and we're strengthening the back. And today we're going to really focus on back muscles, because they help hold us upright. Gravity, of course, does this to us, right? Back muscles help us be taller, okay, and fight against gravity as we age. And so, when we have a strong back, this affects our posture in more of a positive way, so keeps us upright more, okay? And these are fairly big muscles in the back. So today, on today's Wellness Wednesday, I want to look at building a strong back, but I want to keep it super doable. Okay, so for those of you who are in a gym and you're doing lat pull downs and you're doing seated rows and you're working in free weights, that is great. But this is more set up for those of you that aren't doing any back work, or you're working out from home and just want to add some variety. Okay, I want to keep it really simple, as always, because small steps create big change. And think about doing this a couple of times a week. Okay, it's going to be short, sweet, and hopefully you will have a better understanding of what you're doing. Because in my mind, knowledge is power. If we know why we're doing something, then we're more apt to show up for it. All right, so let's get started. Okay. So I want you to just come into standing. We're just going to do a little bit of a check-in here. I want you to bring your hands down to your sides, soften your ankles, your knees, and your hips. Now, I want you to notice, where do your arms hang in space? Okay, are they out in front? Are they behind? Do they come along that pant line? I just want you to notice that. And then notice where your ribs are in space. Do they stick out? Do they come back in? Does it feel more like this? Does it feel more like this? Just notice, okay, what are you feeling? And where are you in your hips? Are you forward with your butt clenched? Or are you back a little bit? Can you feel some spring in your hips, your knees, your ankles? Okay. All I want you to do is become aware of that. Now take your thumbs into the sides of your hips and turn them out this way. This happens at the shoulder. So just turning it out this way. Notice what happens here in the front of the chest. And then bring an awareness into the upper back here. Okay, notice, do you feel anything there? I have full range, right? Maybe your range is here. And then you're feeling the front of the chest. Okay, so just notice what's available for you. And then break it down into sides. What's available for you on one side and what's available for you on the other, pain-free, okay? Pain-free. And then both, and just notice, okay? All right, now taking your hand and bringing it down, we're going to turn that thumb out a little bit and just open, reach through the fingers. This is a really subtle stretch into the front of the chest. Okay, do the same with the other arm, just open it up. And if you feel like your ribs are arching way out, bring your arms back. Reach down through your fingers, and we want just that subtle stretch through the front of the chest. Okay. If it feels like, oh, this hurts so good, you're too far. Just a subtle stretch. You might even feel that coming down the fronts of your shoulders, fronts of your arms. But again, keep your ribs a bit back in space as we look at this. Good. Then release it. Shake it out. And notice now where your hands are in space. Are they in front, behind, to the side? Just notice, has that shifted or changed at all? Okay, thumb comes back in towards the hips. Turn and open in whatever range feels good for you. Now think about your shoulder blades now. And start to bring your blades towards each other. So your shoulder blades on your back, start to bring them towards each other a little bit. And some of you might feel even a bigger, stretch here in the front of the chest, coming down the front of the arm, the shoulder. Just notice what shows up there for you. Okay, my blades are coming together, but my chest is not coming out. Okay, I just want to bring, it's that subtleness. And one more breath here, and then release. Good, bring the hands back down to the sides. Notice, where do they lay in space now? Are they starting to come a little bit closer to the side of your hip? Okay, are they coming a little bit closer? Now let's do this one more time. Notice, do I have more range now in the front of my chest, in that external rotation of my shoulder? And can I bring the blades a little bit closer now? Maybe the arms are reaching a little bit back without that big arch, right? My ribs are down in space. I'm going to reach down through my fingers and back, thinking about my blades coming towards each other. And you can see, right, how much more space I have here, right? Energy needs to move. It needs space to move in. And then bring the arms back to the side, shake it out. Notice where are those hands lying in space in relation to the side of your body again. Now bring your awareness to your chest. And just notice now, does it feel a little more relaxed, a little bit more open? So this is a great thing to do, especially if you sit for a living and you're always in front, right, of your body. That's where world happens, right, is in front of us. And we often don't think about what's behind us, right? Okay, so just notice that. So what we've done now is we've stretched out through the chest, okay? We've allowed those arm bones to sink back a little bit. And so the back muscles now are just in a little better space to start working with them. Okay, so if your posture looks like this, and you're trying to work your back muscles, it's going to be really difficult to get those blades moving. Whereas if you can come up and open this up a little bit, okay, now you see I can get into my back muscles. I have better movement there. Okay. All right. So we're going to come down onto the mat. Okay. And let's just take it down in a forward fold. And can we stay flat through the back? Just nice and flat through the back. Bring yourself down. All right, I've come down onto all fours. Okay, it doesn't have to be like that. I can go down on my chest. Okay. So we'll come into, and I'll show you this on your chest as well. So for those of you who don't like to be on your knees, and I have lots of students in my classes who don't like to be on their knees. All right, we'll reach long through the legs, arms come in front, forehead comes down on the mat. You could put a yoga block or a bolster under that. I want to anchor, I'm going to anchor the left side of my body, the left leg, and the left arm
And then I'm going to just lift the right leg a little bit and lift the left arm a little bit and take that back down. I'm going to anchor the opposite side and lift. Notice how low my lift is. So I want to move from my shoulder blade with the arm and from my hip with the leg. Okay? Really strong here. I can feel my back working with no pain. If you're pain, okay, you may be lifting one of your limbs too high. Keep them lower. And then for those of you who want to be on all fours, it feels good for you. You'll anchor one shin, lift the leg, opposite arm. Think about reaching the toe away, the fingers towards the wall in front of you. And then switch. Try to keep both hip bones facing the floor. And just feeling the back work here. Again, if you're feeling that low back pain, you may be reaching too high with the leg. Okay, bring it down. You can add the arm as the opposite or just do the legs if you wish. Think about both hip bones facing the floor. Notice my speed. Really nice and slow here as opposed to this. Okay? It's not about how many you do. It's about the quality of the exercise or the repetition, okay? Take that down. Okay, if you're on all fours, you'll now come down onto your chest. And bring your hands down to the sides. I teach this one a lot in yoga. Okay, and if this is low back pain for you, you are way too far. And if you have a back injury, this may not feel good for you at all, okay? And wait until your physio tells you you're good to go. So I want to find my breath now. And float my fingers up. Reach the fingers towards the toes, and you can feel the backs of the arms fire up. And the upper back. And then bring them down. Anchor one leg, float the other leg up. Notice how small that is. It's not a big lift. I want to put it there with focus, with intention. So maybe that works for me. And then both arms lift, or maybe I don't even lift the arm. Try the other side now. Maybe I lift the arms, maybe I don't. Take it down. Now, for some of you, it's going to feel great to float both legs. If that makes you drop into your low back and has pain for you, you're way too far. Put one leg down. Okay? We want to work. Challenge is okay. Pain is not. So look between the hip bones. And as you exhale, just try to do that little string up, reach through the fingers. I'm looking down at the mat. I could have one leg down, could have both legs down, and just my arms lifting. Remember to always play in the body you showed up with. Hold this for about 10 breaths. And you can take one leg and then the other leg. You can take both legs down, float them up. And one more breath here. Bring the arms around. Come down onto your mat and just a nice gentle rock through the hips. And just notice how this is feeling for you now. Two more breaths here. And then slowly bring yourself up. So if you have any tubing, okay, could like this with handles,
any kind of tubing that you have. Right, we'll come into seated, and you might want to sit with something. So if you sit and this happens to you, this is what you feel like. Make sure you put yourself up on something or sit on a chair. Okay. So legs come out in front, and I'm going to take my tubing and wrap it around my feet. I could use weights here, and I'm going to show a weight option in a moment. Okay, flexing both of the feet so my toes reach up towards the ceiling. I'm going to grow really tall, and then I want my elbows to come along the side of the waist till I feel my shoulder blades come towards each other, and then just a really slow release here. Exhale. My elbows pain along my ribs as my shoulder blades come towards each other, and then slow release. Notice where your head goes in space now. Okay, as the shoulder blades come together, does it go up? Does it drop down? Or are you stay looking at the horizon? Optimally, we'd like you to look at the horizon, okay? It might be normal, it is normal actually, to feel like the blades might be stuck a little bit, like they don't move a lot. Just work in the range that you feel. And let's do one more. Hold it here for a few breaths. Notice my elbows are down, my shoulders are away from my ears, and I'm growing tall through my spine. And as I'm holding here and breathing, I can feel my back muscles work. And slow to release, really nice and slow now as we release and let it go. Good. All right, let's come up to standing now. So we've opened up the chest. We've worked the back muscles without any weights. We've used tubing to get the blades moving and to start to work in some back muscles. The ones we did prone on the floor worked our back as well. So now we'll start to add weights to that equation, which would be your next progression. Okay. So I brought a chair along for those of you who would prefer a chair. Right? And I'll show you that in a moment. You can use the chair both as seated, but you could also use it for support. Okay, and I'll show you that option. We'll take one weight down. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And we worked in that long back, okay, flat back, we call it. And put my hand here, come back. I'm going to bend my front knee. Do you see how long I am from crown to tail? Then this arm here, I want to pull it back a little bit so it's not hanging here and I'm not hyperextended through my elbow. Okay, I'm going to pull that back a little bit, and now I'm going to bring my blade towards my spine and then slowly release. And a nice slow release. You want to have a nice grip on that weight. Okay, notice how my elbow comes along my ribs. My shoulder stays away from my ear, and my blade comes towards my spine here. I want to release nice and slow with control from my back. Creating strength in both the lengthened and the shortened position of the muscle. And one more. Good. Bring it up. Let's change. So I'll show you the seated option now. All right. So you can come back to here. From a seated perspective, flat back again, hands on the thighs. And rowing here. If you're not sure if your elbow is coming up towards your ear, put your hand there. Again, with control, nice and slow to release. Okay, and then let's do 2 more, slow to release. That's it. Last one. Good. Slow to release. You could also do that, okay, for those of you that do this a fair bit, in a squat position, challenge the legs, flat back, and row here. Okay, I like that one as well because we use the lower body at the same time. All right. So come back to standing now. Take your hands together, interlace your fingers, thumbs down. Great hand stretch. But also as we press away, let's bring the blades away from each other. Thumbs down. Feel the muscles of the back stretch there in between the shoulder blades. And then slowly release. Bring it up. Shake it out through the fingers. Good. Bring it up and stretch out. Really reaching and arcing from under the armpit. And the other way. Good, coming back to center. Hands come in front now. Let's do a cat. Pubic bone to belly button, chin to chest, just stretching out through the back. And then coming into the cow pose. And back into the standing cat, could be seated. And into the cow. And just notice, can you open a little bit more here through the chest? And one more. And come back to center. Good. Now check in. Right? It's measurable work. So just notice, where are my hands now? Is there any change there? I feel a little more open here through the chest and a little more supported from the back. Do you feel a little stronger and a little taller? Okay, lengthened. Just notice how that feels for you. Our backs, we suffer so much from back pain. And when you have back pain, it really hinders a lot that you can do. And so you want to create that strong back in between. Okay, so if you're prone to injury there, you want to wait till you're feeling good to try and do something like this, or chatting with your physiotherapist about what you're ready for. Okay, so that you're preventing injury in the future by strengthening up your back muscles. You're helping your body hold itself upright against gravity. These are all really important things as we age. We're also building muscle, okay, increasing metabolism when we start to work in our muscles. And we're creating a healthier, more vibrant us. So important. It's a win-win all around. I'd love to hear how you're making out with this. And if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out. I'm more than happy to help you and help you get on your path. All right? So take care of you. And thank you so much for joining me for Wellness Wednesday. And build that strong back. You will be so grateful that you did. Your future self will thank you. All right, take care of you. And I'll talk to you next Wednesday.